Good afternoon. My name is Julie Ingoli, and I am a safety. My safety commitment is I will maintain a positive attitude. I work here at the Troy manufacturing plant in Toyota Motor Manufacturing in Troy, Missouri. I am there of the African American Coalition we have at our plant, and I have some of the other members of the AAC here, and they will be introducing themselves as we go into our presentation. I do have Ray Claybrooks, who just came online. He worked with us as well. He is actually serving as my co-chair for the AAC. And I have Campbell, who is here as well, who you'll be hearing from. So welcome to the virtual tour of our camp. This is a picture, an aerial picture of our plant. Here in Troy, Missouri, we're located on 75 acres. The plant itself takes up 550 square feet, which is approximately 9.5 football fields. Missouri Smelting Company, which is located to just the west of our plant, it supplies us with molten aluminum, and that the fact that we utilize recycled aluminum is important because it means that we're not depleting any of our natural resources and making the cylinder heads that we do at our plant. I'd like to let you know a little bit about what Toyota, the size of our manufacturing operations in North America. Did you know that every Toyota that is assembled, every Toyota vehicle that's assembled in North America has a cylinder head that is made here in Missouri? And can you tell me if any of your family members drive Toyota? You can answer via chat or give me a wave or whatever. All right.
Xavier Williams, by the way, can you turn on your video camera? Thank you. Oh, and your camera's high again.
So my dad drives Toyota.
Oh, good. So we'll show you where that is made in just a few minutes. I drive a RAV4, and Ray drives a sports car. I'm not sure which model it is. Maybe I'm up when he comes online. But so as we said here, we make cylinder heads in Missouri. All right, here's a picture of the cylinder head. This particular picture here is a 4-cylinder cylinder head. We made here V6 and V8 engines here in Troy. The difference being right here is a V8, the V8 cylinder head for a Tundra vehicle. It actually has 2-cylinder heads. So you'll see them right here. And why V? Because if you look at the actual engine block, it is in the shape of a V. The cylinder head itself is 2 of them, as you can see right here, the left-hand side and the right-hand side. Can anybody tell you what the function of a cylinder head or does in an engine? So it's like the lungs of an engine. It functions to control the airflow through the engine as well as fuel. Okay. So the more cylinder heads you have, the more combustion occurs. What happens is the piston is an actual tube like an engine, and it will fill with air and gas. And as the piston moves up in that cylinder, it compresses that mixture of air and gas, and then there's a spark causing that mixture to explode. And when it explodes, you have combustion, which drives that piston back down. And that movement of the force of that piston going down goes to the crankshaft, and that's what propels your car. So the more of those cylinders you have, the more powerful your engine is. Since we have a 4-cylinder engine, and in the Tundras and the Tacoma, the big truck, they are V8. So for North American manufacturing for Toyota, in Missouri, our plant here, we make cylinder heads. We have a sister plant in Tennessee. They make the engine block. And from there, we send the cylinder heads and engine blocks to our engine plant that is located in West Virginia and Alabama. And from there, we have in Kentucky, the Kentucky plant not only does make is an engine plant, but it is the largest Toyota facility in the world. And we make Camry, Avalon, and Lexus EX. And then from there, we have an Indiana plant. They make the Sienna, the Highlander, and the 4Runner. We have a plant in Mississippi that makes the Corolla. And in Texas and San Antonio, they make the Tundra and the Tacoma. And then our headquarter plant for North America is located in Plano, Texas, which is just outside of Dallas, Texas. We also have a small plant in California, the stamping plant. They make stamp parts there. And in Mexico, we have 2 plants. They both make the Tundra. In Ontario, Canada, we have a plant that makes the RAV4 and the Lexus crossover vehicle. And in Captain, on the west side of Canada, they make aluminum alloy steel. So I think it was Jordan, you said that, I think it was Jordan, you said that you have, your father drives a Highlander, did you say? So those are made in Indiana.
Okay. Okay.
What was that? Does someone have a question?
They were saying that the person who said that was one of Xavier Chan.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right. So your father's vehicle is made in Indiana, and the one that I drive is made in Ontario, Canada.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So last year in 2019, we made approximately 3 million cylinder heads at our plant here in Missouri. Day. And around 500, which is 900 heads, that is equivalent to 96 million pounds of recycled aluminum. Last year alone, roughly equivalent to 3 million soda cans. That's a lot of soda. Now, I'm not saying so much that we make our cylinder heads from soda cans in the plant, but it's the fact that aluminum is recycled, and we use recycled over and over. The good thing about aluminum is it does not degrade over time. As the time you recycle it, it still retains its strength. So it's a good idea to recycle your soda can, because you never know what it's going to turn into. Okay. It might be part of your Highlander or my RAV, whatever. So at our plant here, we have over 900 positions, and they're not all, it's a variety of career opportunities that are here. We have production team members, we have maintenance technicians, engineers, we have IT, computer people, facilities, safety and environmental, human resources, and accounting. So next, we're going to be introducing you to some of the different jobs that we do here at the plant, and how it is that we are skilled to do those jobs. Okay. So as I introduced you previously, I am Julie Ingoli. I am an environmental engineer here at the plant. And on a daily basis, I do things like make sure that we have enough roll-offs on hand to recycle plastics and aluminum and paper and cardboard and wood. I also maintain we have a lot of pollution control equipment. Like we have an odor scrubber on site so that we're not, putting smelly things in the air to bother our neighbors. So I maintain and check those every day to make sure that we are operating those properly. I also do samples of our wastewater to make sure that we're meeting our discharge limit so that we're not, polluting our rivers and waterways. And look at our stormwater. We have construction on site, so we put up some stormwater controls to keep sand and mud and stuff from running off in the rain and filling up our local streets and things like that. How I use technology, I do a lot of monitoring different things on my computer. This here shows you an example of a non-production energy report that I get, and we're looking at the type of energy that we are generating across the plant. On a normal home, for instance, I think they generate somewhere around 50 kilowatts of energy a month. Well, our plant here generates 903 million kilowatts per month, and that contributes to what's known as greenhouse gases, which, does anybody know what greenhouse gases are? Okay, they accumulate in our atmosphere and they raise the temperature of the atmosphere. So Toyota has a goal for the year 2050 to have a zero net CO2 emissions plant. So we are going through and doing certain changes to our processes and controls to lower our CO2 emissions. And this is the type of thing that I monitor on the computer. How I got to where I am, I have a master's degree, a bachelor's of science degree in engineering. I have a master's degree in civil engineering, and I have a PhD in theology and mass communication. So I have a lot of schooling, but for me, the benefit of all of that, which is most important to me, is I'm a single mom. I raised 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl, and it was important to me to be able to bring home the salary that would allow us to have a nice place to live and to have food on our table and to not be suffering over in any way. So with that, I am going to switch the presentation over to Ray Claybrooks. Ray still on? I don't know. Ray. There he is. Okay. Okay. I'll leave you to the introduction, but this is Ray Claybrooks. Take it away, Ray.
All right, good afternoon. How's everybody doing?
Morning.
Good afternoon.
Good.
Hello.
Good.
Good. So my name is Ray Claybrooks. My personal safety commitment is to always make eye contact with PIV operators. And PIV operators are the fork trucks and vehicles that drive around making eye contact so we don't have a collision at intersection. So what I do, my title, I'm senior engineer at Toyota, Missouri. So in that, what engineers do, and I find it somewhat difficult to explain sometimes. So in an easy answer, it's problem solving. So in the production that Julie explained, in the cylinder head, by engineer, when there's an issue out on the floor or there's an issue during that production, I'm called to solve that issue in terms of if we're making 11 parts an hour, they want to understand how to make 12 parts an hour, that's where I come in. Or in the production part, if we're making parts that we're already getting defects or problems in a particular area, I'm called to figure out how to stop that problem, what happens. So in a easy answer, not so easy, by what I do with problem solving. So how I use technology every day, probably the program I use the most. So here, this shows me programming a robot, the robot being the orange machine that has the number 3 on it. So the machine is removing the edges from a sand core. The sand core is used to, as you explained in the cylinder heads, there's a lot of holes, gaps in the inside part. So the sand is in the production of that cylinder head cause those gaps, cause those holes, cause those voids. Then after the cylinder head has been produced, that part is now put basically inside a machine full of hammers, and it knocks out that sand. So it's sand just as you would think of on a beach in California or Florida or South Carolina. But it's that same type of sand that goes there to create those voids and those holes. So it can be the breathing apparatus, as you said. So this is me programming that robot to move along the edge to remove the edges and make it a smooth surface. In adjunction to programming robots, I think mostly on a day-to-day basis, I use Excel the most in terms of graphing and charts showing trends, showing what defects happen when, to maybe try to predict some or try to show how to get rid of them based on historical values. So somewhat a lot of more stuff today, so maybe interesting. But it's a lot of numbers, a lot of calculating. But the good thing is now that all the computers do the work for me, so I can be somewhat a little lazy and let that do all the hard stuff. So how I got here, I am a Central High School graduate, class of 2007. Probably a long time ago to you all. I then went to South Carolina State University, the HBCU in Orangeburg, South Carolina, majoring in mechanical engineering. So I always knew that I wanted to be an automotive engineer. Didn't really have Toyota in my vision, but luckily Toyota is what worked out. So why education matters? I think education is very important because it allows us to get away from to escape and achieve and do the things that we want to do. So without my education, I think none of the things that I appreciate on a daily basis would be possible. The education being the first thing that I needed. And I think, don't get me wrong, there's ways around achieving the things that you want to do without the education, but the education made it so much easier. Kind of fast forward that process, sped that process up for me to, have the lifestyle that I like to have. So I think education is very important, especially, some of our environment. It is key for us to get out, live a wonderful life. That is pretty much my spiel for today. I will. Right? Anything? Sports car? Well, this is a touchy subject right now. So I prefer not to. No, I drive a Lexus sports car. So for those who don't know, I know Julie kind of mentioned it. Lexus is also a division of Toyota, the luxury division of Toyota. So sports car drive is called a LT 500. I'm ready to get rid of it. It brings us trouble. I don't know if I'm ready to get a Prius like Julie, but
I'll trade you, Ray. I'll trade you.
listen, we got to trade the pavement too. We can do it. You got to take all of it.
All right. Thank you, Ray. Thank you. At this time, I have Aaron Campbell. I'm just going to give him a chance to give his presentation to you. I did note that we had a timer that showed up here that we have about 10 minutes, but I'll have Aaron come over and give his presentation to you right now.
Oh, okay. Hello, I'm Aaron Campbell. I'm the group leader over sport, so I handle. So what I do is basically I handle as far as everything that comes in the plant as far as the hot aluminum to make these cylinder heads. So we bring them in as basically like a giant, layman terms, the best way to explain it, a giant hot coffee mug, but it's hot melted aluminum. So we bring them in to pour into each furnace. So we got 54 furnaces that we have to pour those in. And as you see at the bottom left hand screen, like you see all the numbers and everything. So the green ones are the ones that are okay. I didn't have any that were in the yellow, but the yellow are the ones that will need metal. And then the red ones are the ones that need metal immediately. That way it won't shut down the machine. But so then the picture to the bottom right hand corner is a picture of a sand rack. And what we do is we mix sand and add the chemicals and things so it basically harden the sand a little bit to make the sand molds, like how Ray was showing in the picture of the program. So that way it'll make the sand molds for those interior side. And then the top right hand corner, you can see that's the picture of the sand rack. That's just one of the rooms that controls like every little door that opens, or we have the misters, things like that, that it controls to kind of keep the temp down and everything. And then to the left, the top left hand corner, we have the heat treat. And what that is, that basically once the parts are created out of production, we bring them over here, and what that does, basically, it hardens the part. So before it goes in there, it's just soft aluminum. Then by the time it comes out, it ends up being a harder aluminum, and then we have to check it with our gauges to make sure that they're up to our spec for that. And hold on. Press the arrow.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So, but how I use technology every day, but that, as far as how I use technology every day, I think that's how I use it. Like, we do Excel all the time, especially in my position. We have Excel, and we have the metal. We have to figure out where the metal and everything goes. And I think that determines where, as far as, because that we have pros and everything in each machine, and that shows which machine they're supposed to go in. How'd I get here? Well, I worked as a temp here for almost 2 years before I actually got hired on, and then I got hired on, became a team member, and then did that for a few years. Then I ended up moving up to become a team lead, and then just last year I became a group lead here. So, but that's how I moved up. But as far as education goes, I went to school for engineering. I did not finish, which I really regret. I went to school for mechanical engineering, but I did not finish, which I really regret that. So, but as far as how education matters, I think I'm going back to school. That way I can open up a lot more doors for myself. I think it opens up a lot of doors for everybody, and make it weird, but make life a little bit easier whenever you want to advance or something different. It'll open those doors for you. I think that's about it. Oh, okay, that's okay.
All right. Hello. How are you doing today? My name is Dante Lewis. My safety commitment is to always wear PPE when on the job. I am a maintenance technician. I've been with Toyota for 23 years. And my job is to maintain the equipment around the plant, make sure everything is up to par, and run it. If the equipment breaks down, I'm one of the guys that will be working on it. how did I use the technology? We use and-on boards and things like that to monitor the equipment that is running or when it's not running. When the equipment goes down, we have and-on boards throughout the plant or in our shop that shows us that the equipment is not working. They have fault. How did I get here? Well, I went to a trade school, which was Rankin Technical College. I went there, and also before that, I went to Battle Rock. So that was also a trade school. And all this matters because to make things better for you, as you become that adult and take care of yourself, you would need these basic tools. These basic tools are the education. And also, I want you guys to stay curious on whatever you do. The more curious you are, the better it'll make you because you learn off curiosity. Okay? There's a lot to learn out there. With me being a maintenance technician, there's always other classes I can take to make myself even better. So education is real important for your better being. So thank
you. Excuse me, you mentioned something about a NAND. I forgot what that board was. What is that board you mentioned at the beginning?
Yes, it was the and-on board. So the and-on board, yeah. So the and-on board shows you what's going on throughout the plant as far as the equipment. It shows you the fault. Also, it shows you some of the things that Aaron was also showing you prior to me, whether or not the equipment needs metal, things like that. Dante Lewis, maintenance technician. You will see illustrations on the screen. To your left is the and-on board I was talking about, which is a remote virtual display for quick identification of other machine faults. You will see the green part. That's representing the ovens that we have. Where it says BFP4, BFP1, BFP5. So those are the ovens. You'll see little things on the side that are like flames. That's letting us know that we do have the burners on that. And if any of you guys are interested in graphical engineering and things like that, those would be the neat little things you get to put on the screen. To your right, you'll see a PLC, which is a programmable logic control. This is part of the equipment that processes a lot of text. So to the left, that image is the graphic interface card. That is used to convert that logic into a visible display, which would be that and-on board that we looked at prior. To your right, that image is a laser-guided tugger. That's controlled by PLC, GIS, graphical information system. That tugger is used to transport done from point A to point B throughout the plant, and it's autonomous. Nobody has to drive it. So how neat is that? Right. So those are some of the things that I work around throughout the plant. Hope you guys enjoy seeing those photos, and hopefully those will be some of the things that you guys might be interested in the future. There's a lot out there to learn. Like I said, there's always new things that's out there that's coming to us. So my suggestion to you guys is to always stay curious on your leisure time. When you're just out hanging out, just pick up a book, just read about some things that you're curious about. When you're working on something or you have a particular thing in your hand that you just bought, whatever, get more curious about than just wearing it or using it. Find out a little bit more on how it works, things like that. So with the career that you're trying to get into, those things will help you a lot. curiosity is a big thing. All right, thank
Thank you.
you. All right, thank you.
Thanks. Xavier has a question. Xavier Chance has a question.
So is engineering like a hard field to go into? Or is engineering a hard field to go into?
Broad field, you can narrow it down to certain things. Like I started out in electrical engineering, but I wasn't very good at it. Like in the labs, my board used to blow up, I blow the transistors and everything. So I switched, and I like the environmental. I can do some design on, building some control devices or checking them to make sure that they're operating okay. So there's a variety of things. I have civil engineering. You can do, build houses and roads and different things with that. But it's very broad. So you can find under engineering, you can find something that you're really interested in.
Yeah, because my major that I'm trying to go into is architecture.
Okay. I have a brother that you like drawing.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think if it's something that you really like, I don't think you'll have a problem with it at all. I don't think it's hard.
So that kind of goes back to that one photo, that image I was showing you about the plane and the different graphics that was on that picture with graphical engineering, things like that. That could fall into that category. So I have a question for you. What do you do during your free time? Do you do anything to kind of assist with the kind of things that you're kind of interested in doing?
Yes. I'm actually looking at colleges, different things that I could send, stuff like that. Do robots or anything that I can use my mind into, Raspberry Pi or drawing, something like that.
What are some of the things you like drawing? Pictures or what?
Well, I like to draw different characters and different houses or backgrounds, stuff like that. Sure. Stick with it.
Well, stick with it, man. Stick with it.
Yes. Do y'all know of any colleges or any trade schools that are close to my major?
Draw houses for General Motors, and he drew like airbag systems on some of their cars. And then when they built the Saturn plant, when they had the Saturn model, he also drew buildings. Saturn. Again, there's a lot of different things you can do, even in architecture.
Oh, that's very, very cool.
Have you done some like job shadowing or trying to visit like an architect's office or something like that?
Well, actually, at my school, I would do this engineering thing, like something like that. Like I get to interview architectural engineers and stuff like that for projects and stuff. And it's like a fair that they do at my school that makes me shadow the engineer even more. So,
and maybe sometime you can look in some of your local papers and see if they have any kind of internship in the things that you're interested in. And some of these jobs You may not get paid doing them, but if you have the free time, it's really worth your while. If they'll let you kind of hang out and look, watch things like that, you can learn quite a bit. Just look.
Okay. All right.
How old are you?
16.
16. What school do you go to?
Go to Hazelwood West. Used to go to Hazelwood Central.
Mm.
That's all.
So I have a close friend of mine that's an engineer that I can connect you with. He works for a firm downtown. I think it's HOC or HOK engineering firm. I know he does a lot of the large buildings. You know, they're looking at the new soccer stadium that's going up downtown. I think they're in charge of that. But if we can exchange information, I can connect with him. He's a pretty cool guy, young guy there from St. Louis as well.
Okay. Well, I'll put my number in the chat. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Miss Jade can send it for you. So, anybody else have any questions? Just remember to unmute yourself before you ask.
Yeah.
Okay. There is a robot. One of my coworkers has. So you're right. You're sitting right on where technology is. Right.
But did you try to look that up on the internet to see how all that works and things like that? Being a little more curious, like I was talking about earlier.
Research a little bit.
Dave, man, I can't see you, man. I only see part of your head. Move the camera so I can see you, or move yourself so I can see you.
There you go. Yeah, it is. Where did you get that hat from? Okay. So what about this guy to the right in the middle? You have any questions?
Jordan, do you have any questions?
So what are you interested in?
I'm also interested in engineering. More like I'm the
Okay. So one day you just want to build a bridge, right?
something like that, or maybe like city development also, like kind of like zone now.
Sounds good.
I actually had a quick question. So I've been teaching the boys about various different types of technology that are soon to be emerging or have been emerging, excuse me. And one of the things we landed on was the Internet of Things. Have you guys heard of that, or have you been able to apply that to your industry?
Yeah, and little do you guys probably think about it. You know anybody that has like the little Google little box to talk to and things like that? That's part of that. You know what I'm talking about? The
Yes.
Alexa. Yeah, that's part of that. And the other transistor, like some of the things that I have on myself where even from here, I can turn my thermostat up at the house, control that, and turn off and on the lights at the house without being there. Set digital timers, whatever, from my phone, like that. So it's pretty neat, nice work with, and job place too, as far as anymore, even clocking in. So we have like the kiosk things that where we clock in the morning, and we also have we also have some of us have like iPads, things like that that we communicate with, and also the technology we use today as we talk to each other. That's also a part of that type of deal. So, and it's just getting larger and larger with video, streaming, and things like that. A lot of automation out there.
Awesome. Thank you. Did anybody have any questions about what you learned, like using what we've learned in class? Maybe you want to ask about the robots they might use.
What happened was like one of the break down.
Try not to cry. No, we call the experts as we have here for that hopefully and oftentimes know how to fix it, but try to avoid as much minimal downtime as possible. Dante is great at what he does among some of his peers, so try to get it back running as soon as possible. But it can be, Dante can probably elaborate more. Sometimes it can be a frank situation, how important it is and how many people it needs. And, you have to think about then what are the people going to do while the machine is down? How long will they be? How long will it be down? Especially ordering parts if we don't have them. So it's crazy.
Yeah, sometimes you can have a problem, find out that problem is a series of problems. So, yeah, get into a piece of equipment, you find one thing wrong with it, and then you'll end up causing or seeing some other things that's also part of that issue. So, and time is always an essence. So, we have to try to get it up as quick as possible. Sometimes parts might have to be ordered. So, and we're around that also. Certain things that we can do to kind of help us out. Some of them rough spots, try not to have it down too long or a day or so, but whatever we can do to get it going, we make sure we take care of it. Somebody just say something.
Any of you have any other questions for them? Or
For any of the speakers, actually.
well, I have a question. If you can hear me, saying my internet connection is unstable, so I don't know if you can hear me. But are there any? Are you working on any projects or know anybody that you can, I guess, legally say are in stuff? Maybe that isn't out there yet, and kind of I can see that kind of piquing their interest. Stuff that not out there on the street. That kind of give them an idea of where things are headed, particularly with Toyota or maybe other places or other companies or things you know about.
Okay, so lot of things that are big right now is coming out. You guys know about solar, things like that. Solar is another big thing that is happening for electricity. Uh, the Internet of Things is so broad, it's limited for I see. So anything that you guys, like I mentioned earlier, would like to try to get into, just do that extra research and find out what it involves, and just kind of touch base on everything, because it may take you a few things to find out exactly what's going to work for you, but the main thing is don't give up, try again, don't give up on yourself. Come across a situation where the job task is hard, or the homework is not working out for you, whatever, just find somebody to get the information you need and keep going with it. Because at the end, it'll pay off for you. Right.
Okay. I'm not going to announce yet, but everybody here in the plant knows what's coming, but I can't really say what it is, but there's definitely yeah, about fuel efficiency and ways that you can make that vehicle go further with less. So that's where a lot of those efficiencies come down to specific intricacies within that cylinder head part. So it can get quite complicated, but yeah, I don't think we can share any of those secrets. Although I will say, just on the plant side, we do have some solar power news coming out. Not like solar power cars, although that would be cool, but ways that we can get different kinds of electricity here at the plant. So always exciting.
And I think also to add on that,
One more question.
Put out on them.
Yeah, it is kind of. Are you working on any about any development of electric vehicles, or can you mention any electric vehicles that are already that Toyota's already doing? I know that's kind of an exciting thing for the generation now. So
We do have the hybrid vehicle now.
And we do have a prime as well. And all electric. We also, another technology that Toyota is exploring is hydrogen powered vehicle. So it's a vehicle called Mirai. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but Mirai. Hopefully on the west, and because we're still working on that hydrogen network. As you can imagine, instead of going to a gas pump where you get gasoline, you go to a hydrogen station where you get. But the cool part about it is that the emissions for that is water. So very clean running, but that is kind of a new technology. We're also using it in some work areas, so places where maybe we have, they have giant trucks that can run off hydrogen and still have a lot of power too. So in addition to vehicles, but I think Toyota, we say we have the most electric line up with because we have so many hybrid options where it's both gas and electric. So kind of getting people to transition to, to that electric, that hybrid is what's really kind of selling pretty hot right now. And I have a hybrid. Really have a hybrid. Yeah.
And I think also not giving much information. The discussion has definitely taken place on many levels and occurrences of our location when internal combustion engines are no longer what's next. So it's not too far-fetched that type of conversation happens.
Yeah, an electric vehicle have a cylinder head, all electric. So that'll be a fun challenge. What are we going to make that? Well, I think we're ready. If there's no more questions, we can wrap it up, and we'll make sure Ray gets that contact information about Dave was. Yes. But let us know questions afterwards. We're happy to answer them.
Just one last question, I guess. Is there any place the students can go to look up more information about you guys, the website or anything?
Yeah, so you can go to Toyota.com. We're actually working on a project where you can, since right now we can't see where the working on a project. So hopefully that comes and about it. But right now, you can go to Toyota.com and look at our vehicles and on the operating page and learn more about all our different planes.
Great. Thank you.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Yeah. Good weekend.
Happy Friday. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this really interesting presentation given by our guest from Toyota. Again, if you have any questions or you have anything before we exit Zoom for today, please ask them now, or can they email you or message you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I put my email in the chat.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
The gentleman right below you, who are you? I've seen you before, but I just don't know who exactly you are.
Come on, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you, when we did the first one with the girls, I think.
Correct.
Yeah, that was me. I was teaching that class as well.
Oh, okay. All right. I knew you looked familiar.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah, well, you still look the same because you got a mask on. So.
All right. All right, man. Take care.
Yeah, I was working with that group as well, and they enjoy the discussion too. We actually, I was actually able to use a lot from that discussion that we had with girls in the class, because a project that came up, actually some things that happened. We were using TeamViewer, not TeamViewer, we're using Microsoft Teams with that group, and something happened where that was similar to what happened with you guys, Toyota, and I noticed. Did you notice how all of them came together to solve the problem in order to get you guys get back in touch with you to make sure you were working properly? And we did a lot of the same thing, them analyzing what's going on based on their group knowledge, who knows more about a certain thing, and you bring that person in, and it was a team effort. You know, and they were like, yeah, they did do that. So now they got all of them got all these papers behind the name, and it took them all to come together to make it happen. So it isn't just one person, to make it happen. So they kind of, so you're doing a micro level what they're doing. So
that learning experience, we're all like, okay,
Yeah, and things come up all the time. Like with Mr. Ray Claybrooks was talking about when one of the robots go down, it's like, we cry, that kind of thing. But after the tears have been wiped away, you got to get it done. You know what I mean? So and that's basically what happened, and we still were able to do the class. So I had to have the discussion. And I said, and that's basically what they deal with every day. And I said, I'm sorry, what your name is on the right with the hat on the right. What's your name again, sir?
Jonathan.
Yes. And we were brought up how when we were doing the BIOS for the computers, and if you do a diagnostic, that was similar to the machine you use in order to find out what's going on with different aspects of what's going on in the plant and how you fix it. So when we do the same thing with the computer. So we've gone into some of that with this group as well in order to kind of know the parts and what's going on with it in order how to fix it. So you kind of get like a microcosm of the macro with you guys. At the same time, the same concepts and principles are going on.
Right.
This level expanded out.
Exactly.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming in to speak to our boys. I think that was a really good way to end the program. If there's any questions you might have for us, or if there's anything else that you might need from us, like I'm recording, like I said, the video. If you want a copy, please let me know. I can send them as I can. I'll need your email address. I'll actually get Miss Jade. I think Miss Jade. Okay, I'll get it from her then.
Yep. And Xavier Williams, this is the time. I understand they know about the project you want to do in regards to making a robot lawnmower. These are definitely the people to talk to. Okay, so they definitely know more about it than I know about it. So you definitely want to exchange information with them, because that would be a larger project from what we did. But basically, a lot of the same principles going on. So, and I think some of that's in the chat or whatever in terms of some of the folks' phone numbers or information or email.
I'll be collecting all of that information and posting it in the drive. So don't worry, it will be available soon.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, y'all. Toyota, we really appreciate you taking time with our youth. And, at the door, and you guys tell us about what they can do with what they're learning now and where it heads. That makes a big deal. That's a big deal, because I know when I was a kid, it helped me later on talking to some people who are already in the field, and I was like their age, and it made me go to school for computer science. So.
Thanks so much, and I think I'll